steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a Penske fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two dumb yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
What up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. This is episode 729 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. I want to welcome everybody back this Monday morning. Good morning and welcome back, everybody. Well, it was Easter. We had an Easter weekend. Fresh off that, you know, once Easter weekend comes and goes, it's almost like, you only have May.
Yeah.
And then it's summertime. Swimming pools are going to be opening up next month. And, and over the weekend, Mike and Derpy, it was pretty warm. We were touching summer weather. And one of the most annoying parts of that, especially early on because you're not used to that, is when the evening comes around. And it has like, I don't know, whatever that effect is, but it gets cooler outside and then it gets hotter in the house.
Yeah.
And it almost gets unbearable.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for that. But once you get used to it a little bit, then it is you get a little bit more comfortable and it isn't as bad. But I tell you what, man, the house, my room, my living room, everything was just so hot over the weekend. And in the evenings when it was cold outside, it was cold.
Yeah.
I was toasting. I had fans on me. It was hard to sleep. But here we are.
Yeah, it was a nice weekend, man. I was outside a lot. Probably can't see it on camera, but I got some sun. I felt great. Worked outside all week, and it was a good weekend.
Hey, good for you, man. You got out a little bit, enjoyed the Easter weekend.
Yep.
Also, I got to be honest with you. I'm going to be, I'm a little dazed. Yesterday was also 420.
Yeah, it was.
And that's a holiday that actually benefits us as an adult. Easter Easter. What is that? I mean, if you have no kids or the kids are out of the nest, if you will, then it's no longer fun. So enjoy the 420 while you can, as it's becoming more socially acceptable in this country. Finally.
Oh,
I mean, it's only been since the 60s that people have been pushing for this, and here it is. But nonetheless, if I seem a little dreary today, that could be why. But let's check out the board this morning. Good morning to Tortilla Jackson. What's up, my friend? And also Richard. Guys, welcome back to the show. Great to see you. I hope you guys had a great Easter weekend, Easter/420 weekend, because we are back. It's a big week, everybody. It's a huge week. It's a week, Mike, that we've been talking about for quite some time. The NFL draft is this week, Thursday, 8 o'clock, round one, and then it goes into Friday and then Saturday. Got a few things going on this week. Mike and Derpy, and I believe Finch, if they're all available, they're all going to give it a go to shoot a live stream for the draft. I know that Mike is fired up, Derpy alike, and the guys, it'll be a lot of fun. I can't wait till the time gets here, Mike. Night one, and it will only be day one of the draft. You guys will be doing the live stream,
correct. Yeah. I'm just doing round one.
And that's okay. Yeah.
The beep has returned.
Was that a real fire, or was that a real beep, Derpy?
Yes.
That battery's dead already?
Maybe.
It only took 2 years to replace it, and it's already dead.
I'm in a different room.
Oh, I see.
Of the house.
So it's never really been fixed. It's just kind of been masked.
Yes.
Oh, Derpy, what am I going to do with you?
Beep.
A lot of other things, guys, that did go down this weekend. Of course, we are going to get into the Steelers, get into the draft. getting ready for all that. But just a few things that went down over the weekend, guys. Besides for Easter, besides for 420, the Pope died. That son of a gun, Mike. I got to be honest.
Shout
I
out to
seen
the
he-
Catholic Church for losing their father.
when I seen that he lost, or when I seen he died, I was so
On
pissed
Easter.
off because I had him last in
Yeah.
the death pool, and then you took him.
Yeah.
And then somebody else died. I mean, like nobody won. Somebody should have won the Pope's death. I don't care. Mike, he was on death's door for a month now,
Yeah.
and we got screwed. We got screwed.
We kept because we picked him for the longest time. Then like it he wasn't dying, and then damn. Apparently, we should have given the Pope Derpy's smoke alarm battery. He would, he'd still be hanging on by a thread like this smoke alarm. Apparently,
Yeah. So that happened last night. What else over the weekend, guys? WrestleMania.
WrestleMania.
I didn't see WrestleMania. I'm gonna have to get more scoop off you, Dirk. I'm sure you have all the results. However, the one thing I did see, Jey Uso did win the championship.
Yeah.
A record 16,000 dislikes for Jey Uso winning the championship in WWE over the weekend in the WrestleMania. Yeet, yes, indeed. 16,000 dislikes. You're doing something right if you were getting 16,000 dislikes in WWE.
Dude, the online fans hate Jey Uso. They're like, why are they making him a champion? Like, do you see all 16,000 people standing up and yelling "Yeet," wearing Jey Uso merch? That's why he has a championship. You people realize it's all predetermined. We all love wrestling because we know it's predetermined, and it's all about making money.
It's predetermined?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to break the illusion.
Yeah, man. But I'm gonna have to find out because, as I said, I seen Stone Cold Steve Austin. I seen a bunch of things that was going on, and but I didn't see the matches. Of course, I just I updated and seen what happened, things like that. So I'm gonna have to get the scoop off of Derpy. A couple other things that went on during this weekend, guys. Have you ever watched professional kickball?
No.
It was on one of the ESPNs over the weekend,
awesome.
and it was awesome. I mean, these guys are unbelievable, and it was it's unbelievable. It's like baseball because the pitchers are so good.
Is it
they make that ball?
Kickball?
What's that?
Is it like cardio kickball where you have to run around the bases?
Yeah, man.
No,
it's like kickball.
Like you have to run. There's two different versions of kickball. There's cardio and then there's regular.
What's regular?
Regular is probably the one you're talking about, but the cardio one is where you continuously have to run around the bases like amount of times.
Oh no, they don't do that. I never even heard of that. Is that
Derpy? What the fuck are you talking about?
The cardio dodge or kickball?
Yeah.
No, it was regular.
It was regular. Okay.
Yes, it was regular, and I got to tell you, these pitchers are so good. Think of this. Think of when you were in elementary school and you're playing kickball on the playground, and you have the athlete, chucking the ball in there to the the girl that is 63 pounds and has no interest at all in being out there playing any kind of sports, and he's just whipping it in there, and it's twisting and turning and curving and bouncing and everything else. That's what these pitchers are like. They're amazing, and it's a challenge. These guys, they go to kick the ball, and it just kind of hits the side of their foot, which was kind of more my speed. But these guys, it's pretty cool. I don't know. I dug it. They play a whole game. They run the bases. They can kick it over the fence. It's a whole thing. But it was adult professional kickball. I've been watching it. I think I cannot not mention this on the show Monday. It was cool. I mean, you always kind of keep your eye open for neat things.
Yeah,
to see that was cool. I watched it. I sat there and watched it. Also over the weekend, pierogies. Mike, we talked about pierogies last week.
Yes, we did.
And there's people that we mentioned that I talked about that didn't even know what a pierogi was. He was from Wyoming, I think. He moved here and he had no clue what a pierogi was. But Mike, over the weekend, I had pierogies with pulled pork on top of the pierogies. Absolutely amazing. It's a small business, so they get in there and they do it themselves. They make the pierogies real good and had the pulled pork and the barbecue sauce. Good Lord, that was some good ass pierogies, man.
It sounds good. We must have missed each other because I went to that same place too over the break, and I got one with buffalo chicken. It was like the grilled buffalo chicken.
Yeah,
and that sauce is is like it is swimming in sauce, and I, I was not prepared for that. So it was like a slap in the face of like heat and senses, but it was so goddamn good.
Yeah,
Oh,
they really
we
are
talked
good.
about pierogies. I had to go this weekend too and get them, man.
Really good. I'll certainly go back.
Mm.
And then finally, guys, I took the dive. I'm not a movie guy, but I took the dive over the weekend and I watched Beetlejuice.
Only
You know,
4
when it
months later.
when it comes to me, Derpy, it's got to be something I really want to see. Otherwise, I'm not gonna. I just won't sit down for a 2-hour movie. It's not gonna happen. But this Beetlejuice, you know what? It was a good sequel for the original. 40 years later,
Yeah.
I mean, they kept a lot of things similar, a lot of things the same. The house, the actors that were still alive, yada yada yada. And the crazy thing about the movie Beetlejuice is that they're aged 40 years. So for me, Winona Ryder isn't nearly as attractive as she was as a younger person. So she was kind of hard to look at. And then the dad, died, the real dad in real life. So in the movie, they had him being eaten by a shark.
Yeah.
So they had the character. It was just a half a person walking around the whole time,
Yeah.
but it was supposed to be the dad. Another thing, Michael Keaton, you could tell his age. I was kind of
Right.
upset by the way that played out because he seemed a lot older. Remember Beetlejuice in the 80s? He was spunky, he was fiery, he was spitting in his coat pocket, and there was just all kind of things about Beetlejuice, the original, that this time he just didn't have the energy. He was just an older man in playing a character that's a couple thousand years old or whatever it is. You'd think that, how no matter, it doesn't matter how old the character is, the guy should still be the same. That was kind of disturbing. Nonetheless, it was a good movie, Mike. I give it 7.5, 8 out of 10. A good sequel to the original. Highlight of the movie was when there was the little baby Beetlejuice running around biting everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. If that's not a classic moment in movie history, I don't know what is. But nonetheless, guys, Beetlejuice. I did watch it. It wasn't bad. They could have made it more about the original characters. They seem to make it a lot about that the Ortega chick, which I am okay with. I mean, she's of age and attractive, but it was more about her. But it was what it was, and they could have put Beetlejuice in it a little bit more.
Yeah,
I would have liked to see.
yeah. I was hoping for a little bit more Beetlejuice, but overall, like like you said, it wasn't a bad sequel. For like you said, like 30, 40 years later, it wasn't a bad movie.
No, it wasn't. I would recommend it again. I don't
Yeah.
watch movies. I just don't. I don't have the attention span. So just be able to sit down and watch a movie was a lot of fun. And as I said, it was something that I guess that I have to see at my age for, being a Beetlejuice fan my whole life. No regrets. Good time, good movie. Check it out, everybody. Let's get on checking on what's going on the board today, Michael. All right, we're gonna go way back here, and then we're gonna say that's Richard says that's the real reason Mike's face is red.
It's all that sun.
Yeah, and all that all the dehydration from the alcohol.
I'm going to say that not the alcohol and not the hypertension. It was the sun.
Hypertension. P says the battery, it remains the same.
The battery will never die.
I'm beginning to think he never got the battery fixed, is what I'm thinking. I think he just moved rooms.
Yeah, like he said, he's just moving around. He's a little, I don't trust Derpy. He's shady.
I like it. It's his shtick. I don't know. I dig.
I hate the fucking alarm.
He says JD Vance snuck in the work in his eyeliner bag.
He shook the Pope's hand, then the Pope died.
Yeah,
That's not something good to have on your resume.
Not to mention he broke a Ohio State trophy.
Hey, that's true. Everything he touches, he breaks. That's right. He just did break the Ohio State trophy last week, and now he broke the Pope. So there you have it, guys.
Derpy, go shake his hand.
Derpy, go shake his hand. It's like hot yoga. It's like hot yoga, Richard said. I think he's talking about when we were talking about the dodge or the kick bomb. Sorry. P says another game for slightly athletic adults. Wonder what the demographic was. I gotta be honest.
Me.
The real good team were all black guys. The team that was trying to keep up with them were all the white guys. But it was you could see it. I mean, the black guys that would kick the ball, they would fly down that line. The infielders just couldn't even get the ball over there. You could tell who was the more athletic guys when it all came down to it. But it was 25 to 30-year-old men. So I mean, it was good. It was interesting, and they were athletic enough to make it interesting. Tortilla says, "Is Derpy ready for Thunderbolts? I haven't been to the movies since Deadpool and Wolverine, but I'm going to see Thunderbolts for sure." Derpy, Thunderbolts. What is this about?
This is a Marvel movie coming up. Kind of like the Suicide Squad, Mike. If you've seen the Suicide Squad,
Yeah.
but it's like Marvel's version, and they're basically the Avengers are disavowed. There's no Avengers in this film, and these basically are the new Avengers that they're going to introduce into the next Avengers film.
Oh, and there's women too on those teams. I'm sorry,
Yes.
Derpy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was starting to zone off there too. Derpy.
Well, I just well, P asked about the demographic. I did want to fail to say that there was women because there were women, and but they were very good too.
right. It's like there's black cats and white cats.
Well, they were very athletic young people. That's why I mean it's good.
Well,
because of that.
I did see one highlight of it. It was making rounds on TikTok. It was like this lady, she in the kickball, she laid down the perfect bunt. So she like just dribbled it down the line, and like everyone got on base, and like a couple people scored. And it was like she's out there trying to break up a no hitter or some shit.
But to answer your question, Tortilla, I'm not sure if I'm excited for Thunderbolts because I'm more of a DC fan.
All right, there you go. Movie reviews with Derpy. Check him out on his page, Derpy Entertainment. He does frequently do his own reviews of movies and such, guys. Pretty cool. Go check him out. But the thing about you, Derpy, you're so random. I never know when you're going to be on. But keep your eye open. He does a really good job. P says Michael Keaton looked 40 in his 20s to be. I know.
Yeah.
But he had that. He still was able to use that. He had that spunk, and he just didn't have it. It was just more like, hey, man, what do you? It was. What's that?
I said, rest in peace, Bob Ryan.
And the thing about it was you could tell the youth was gone, and I think that's what made part of the character what it was in the 80s, and that I think was missing. But again, not many complaints for what it was. It was a Beetlejuice movie. It was cool. I dug it. Back on the board. Happy annual Wawa. There is a baseball game at 11 a.m. day. Oh, really? I did not know this. I know that Baltimore they got beat by. They lost 24-2. The Reds beat them 24-2 yesterday. It was like a Bengals and Ravens game.
Oh yeah, 24-3 or some shit.
Yeah,
that was like the first time since like 1999, I believe that happened.
Wow. What is that? All right. Let's see. Yinzer Joe, what's up, brother? He says, Yinzers, what's up? Hope everyone's holiday was good. It was very well. Thank you, my friend. We hope the same for you. Caleb, what's going on, my brother? He says, I got a rock for Easter. Yinzer Joe. He said the Thunderbolts are like the replacement Avengers, but they're all bad guys. Well, I like the all bad guys idea. Didn't they do that before with something like
Suicide Squad?
The Suicide Squad.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I like the idea. I mean, I like to know what the bad guys are thinking, Tortilla said DC is looking like it's on a come up. So we'll check that out. Derpy, the Thunderbolts. What is this? Is this just coming out? Is it out?
I think it comes on next month, early next month.
All right, we'll be sure to get the scoop from Derpy and everybody else on the board as well if you see it as well. Let's get into some sports.
Yes, sir.
I listen. There's a lot we're going to get into today. We're going to get into the Steelers. We're going to get into the draft. But let me get it. I just want to talk quickly about these Pirates. Derpy, I'm convinced you showed up for only one reason today. And that was to get on me because the Cleveland Indians swept the Pittsburgh Pirates. But you know what? I'm cool with that. And I'm going to tell you why. The Pittsburgh Pirates, they take a ass whooping this weekend to the Cleveland Guardians. Listen to this, guys. Friday night. Now, there's problems. And please bear with me. We're going to get to the Steelers. I promise you. We're going to get to it real soon. This is really sticking in my craw. Now, these Pirates, they're having all kind of problems. It all started back in the 90s. But listen, just to update things, last year, by them cutting their starting first baseman with like 4 at-bats left or something like that. He needed 4 at-bats to get his bonus. Yep. He played all year, played his ass off. And they cut him like 4 at-bats short so they wouldn't have to pay him his bonus. All right, sign of a cheap team. But you know what? It's business is business. So anyway, this season comes around. They end up doing having all these issues all these issues in the first week of the season, like with covering Roberto Clemente's sign with a
Yep.
with a drink that nobody's ever heard of. This pitcher. Also, they threw away. They took all these bricks, these Bucko bricks that people paid right around $100 for to have them transcribed and put into the building and around the building and to be there. And the team just took them and threw them by the thousands in a garbage dump. So people at the games are rightfully pissed off at what's going on with this Pittsburgh Pirates organization. So, Mike, you and I have been calling this for years now. Stop going.
Yeah.
You have the only language.
You have to put your foot down.
The only language Bob Nutting understands is the pockets. And the fans started to do it. They started to stop showing up, and it was great. But bobblehead night comes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Achilles
And
heel.
everybody shows up.
The Achilles heel of every Yinzer alive is the bobblehead.
Bobblehead and Zambelli's fireworks night, baby.
Now, not only was it a bobblehead, it was a Paul Skeens bobblehead.
Yep.
If you would have seen, and you may have, the line
I seen it online.
wrapped around PNC Park for these people to get in to get their bobblehead.
All across the bridge to downtown.
All across Roberto Clemente Bridge. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, this team that does this to Rowdy Tellez last year, this team that does these stupid things. I mean, come on. Those stupid things that I mentioned earlier were just stupid. They're stupid things. Roberto Clemente is arguably one of the best players ever that played the game of baseball.
Yeah.
The family is so close to the organization. They're always at the games. And then again with the Bricks, fans did not like this. So Mike, this is what they're going to do. They were so excited that people showed up at the stadium on Friday night. They decided to give everybody who didn't get bobbleheads, a voucher. So all
Congrats.
59, whatever, 1,039, the amount of people, they're all going to get their Paul Skeens bobbleheads now.
Oh, that was nice.
So he went out of his way
Yeah.
to make sure that everybody gets a bobblehead. This guy cut a guy short 4 bats of his bonus.
Uh-huh.
He was going to pay $1 million plus for a baseball card that some kid found. He was going to take it from this kid. But he can't pay money to get good players to put a good baseball team on the field.
No.
He can give everybody free bobbleheads. Let me tell you, bobbleheads aren't cheap to make. They're about $60 a pop. And I mean, I'm sure they get huge discounts, but listen, you're spending all like that episode of Family Guy when Brian owes Stewie money.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
like,
go ahead,
bro.
bro.
You got money for a mask and for a mask, but you don't have money to pay me. Like, that's what it's like. You have all this money for the stupid shit. You'll buy a baseball card off a kid
Uh-huh.
for $1 million. You'll buy everybody an extra bobblehead. You'll cut a guy 4 at bats short of his bonus.
That's just wrong.
But you won't pay any money to bring good players in. This is why, Mike, it better go back. They head out to California this week, luckily. But when they come back after a couple series, I hope it goes back to the way that it was, Mike. The crowd was comparable. I don't have the exact number, but quote, the crowd was comparable to the crowd that was out for Monday. The home opener against the New York Yankees last weekend. So this is the Pirates, guys.
Oh yeah, it's a complete and utter shit show. And like my thing is with the bobbleheads, why didn't you have enough for every seat in the house?
Well, they only usually give it out to the first 20,000 fans. That's generally a rule of thumb.
But come on now, you're trying to instill some goodwill.
Of course, yes.
You struggle to bring people into the stadium anyway. They show up for bobbleheads, and they show up for this. Now it's just another PR nightmare for this team. And it couldn't happen to a nicer guy, couldn't happen to a nicer organization. It just sucks that a lot of these players are, stuck on this team. And then like Kutch venting his frustration to reporters or like replying to reporters' tweets before the game, seeing that he's not in the lineup and stuff like that. This organization is we thought they hit rock bottom, at least definitely over this offseason by not upgrading any part of the roster other than bringing in the guy Spencer Horowitz and Tommy Pham. That's about all they did. Now that you keep doing all this stuff off the field, it's this organization keeps finding ways to find rock bottom.
It stinks, man. It's they ended up losing 10-7 Friday, 3-0 Saturday, 5-4 on Sunday. It's just a disaster. But get this, the crowd size on Friday night. Get this, Mike. You're just gonna you sit down, please. The Friday night crowd size has Charrington thinking playoffs. This was
What?
this was the headline. Yeah,
What?
yes, the crowd size Friday night has Charrington thinking playoffs. How stupid of a thing to even come, right?
Like you don't put out a lineup out there to
He's just
allow
literally
you-
thinking playoffs. There's no intention to do anything about it. He's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
thinking.
You're just thinking big. Oh man, if we made the playoffs,
You
this stadium
fantasize
would be
about it, but
crazy.
it's never gonna happen.
Exactly. I can fantasize about marrying Sydney Sweeney, and it's not going to happen.
No. What else? What else? There is good news though, Mike, that I do have to say about one player on the team that I have to highlight.
Joey Bart.
O'Neal Cruz.
Huh.
O'Neal Cruz is the only player in Major League Baseball history, the only player, nobody else has done it, to hit in his first 17 games to have 4 home runs, 9 stolen bases, and 11 walks.
Wow.
Nobody else in the history,
Shout
after
out to
17
Cruz.
games of the Major League Baseball season, has got to that particular level of those things all at the same time. I'm sorry, Derby. I'm sorry. Did you say something?
This is a shout out to Cruz.
Yeah, no, he's a beast, man, and Bart. But they leave a lot to be desired. This baseball team, guys, they're out west starting a series with the Angels starting tomorrow. It's a 3-game set.
Oh, come on.
Tuesday, 9:38 is game time. The Pirates are 8-15. They bring that record in to face off the 11-10 Angels. Then after that, they head over to play the Dodgers for 3. But there you go.
They should sweep the Angels. They're terrible.
But Derpy, we don't ever play good out west. None of our teams do. The Steelers generally don't. The Penguins or the Pirates. For whatever reason, you go out west, you forget what you're doing, and it's just a lot of stuff to do out there. Maybe they have a little bit of fun, and you lose focus. I don't know what the reason is, but I just know that maybe jet lag. But I know that we don't win a lot of games. Our teams just generally don't play great out west. But we'll see what the Pirates can do. Again, 8-15. Heading into those 6 away games,
Ooh.
and then they'll be coming back home. So we'll take a
look
look.
at it this way: it's better than expected.
I know it's not.
It's not. You think they could have done worse?
Well, no. This is where I expected them to be. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought they would be a little bit better than what they are, but I don't know. I don't get it. I just don't get it. All right, guys, let's get into it. It is draft week. A lot of things to talk about. Mike, let me get a couple of these messages on the board in first, and then we'll get into draft week.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. Yinzer Joe says, Caleb sounds like you need an Arnold Palmer drink. Well, incidentally, that's who I thought the poster was for the first month or 2 that Caleb was on the show. Mark Malone, what's up, brother? Mark Malone says, Derby just finished up a twerking midget video shoot. Maybe. The Derpy agenda.
This is why we're not drafting Will Howard.
I got to be, you know what, Mike? I actually had, I don't know if I want to get into this yet because this week we are the Dumb Yinzer AI house band. They created a couple more songs, as you heard over the past couple weeks. I think there was a Mike song, a Derpy song, but there's a song. It's a grunge song about about his Aunt Peaches. We haven't talked about Peaches for a while,
no.
but there's a theory, Mike. One of the listeners of the show actually brought this up to me. They said, "What? It seems that they're almost alter egos of us, with Fanny and Peaches and the half sister that's actually a half a person, and Derpy would be like the half a person."
Yeah.
And we're like, I don't know. I don't get the theory. I don't even know I don't know if I agree with it or understand it even. But somebody came to me and they said it seems like Fanny and Peaches and the half a sister, who's literally a half a sister, she has no legs.
Yeah.
They said it's almost like an alter ego to us as the people in this show. But I don't know, Mike. We'll pull out the song some point, maybe today, maybe this week. I don't know when, but it's just interesting. I can't wait to hear it and try to see what they're talking about. Maybe we do. Maybe it's a subconscious thing we're doing, Mike.
Yeah, it could be.
Let's see. Tortilla Jackson on Big Ben's podcast, him and McAfee tried that new drink and said if it wasn't covering the wall, they would like it more. Oh yeah, the Surfside vodka tea, I think. Piece is playing the Yinzer fan base like a cheap fiddle. There it is, right over Mike's face, just like it was over Clemente's.
You're covering legends. That's all Surfside does. Cover legends.
Let's see. He says playing the Yinzer fan base like a fiddle, a cheap fiddle, if you will, for a bobblehead. Then Richard says you get a bobblehead. You get a bobblehead. She's gonna bobblehead. Welcome to the game. Everybody likes a good bobblehead. Tortilla says they had to cut him to pay for all the bobbleheads. Got the bobblehead plug. That was P. Tortilla says the owner is a bobblehead. That's why he wants everyone to have him. He is a bobblehead. We want him gone so bad. And like I said, the fans are finally being proactive, and I couldn't be prouder. I couldn't be prouder of this fan base. What, Derpy?
I agree with 100% with Richard right here.
Yeah, Derpy needs his own personal bobblehead. Derpy can get his own personal bobblehead. It's gonna cost him about $60, but more like Sidney Crosby. Sidney Crosby, Mike. Look like more like Sidney Crosby, Mike.
More like Sidney Crosby. I can't remember what that was in reference to.
I'm sure it was good. Yinzer Joe always got good stuff. P says this dude sounds like a good time. Always has good powder. P says I hate the deeply irrelevant stats baseball keeps track of to have something to talk about between all the dead time. P says this. Caleb says I drink the Jim Palmer. It's an iced tea with cigarette ash mixed in. Tortilla says I drink rum with my cigarette ash. Makes me feel like a pirate. But I don't want to be a pirate. So let's get started on some football talk, guys. It is the draft. We're only just days away after the long wait from Super Bowl to draft. Mike, it's months goes by, but here we are. We're in the same week. I'm sorry, not even the same month. We're in the same week. And we are Thursday night all the way to Saturday, Mike. The draft starts 8:00 on Saturday. Thursday. I keep going backwards because Derpy keeps chiming in.
There we go. I'll give you 10 seconds apiece.
All right. Thursday, 8:00, all the way through Saturday. Thursday at 8:00 starts the draft. Go ahead, Derpy.
So the only stinky part is in Green Bay.
Yeah. Literally, it smells like cheese.
Stinky cheese.
But we're 1 year away, guys. Just 1 year away. It'll be right here in our backyard. I can't wait. I know Derpy's going to be there. A lot of people going to be coming into town. A lot of people. My God, I don't even know how they're going to fit. I don't even know how they're going to fit in this town. I don't
even know where they're going to put it, honestly.
You're going to have to sit in a river. I mean, literally, it's going to be tight. There's no two ways about it. It is going to be a tight one. A couple of things, Mike. What, Derpy?
Unless they do it in the stadium or something.
They're not, though. They're doing it. I think they're extending it over by Point State Park, and then they're coming across the bridge. Like people are going to be walking across the. I mean, it might have disaster written all over it, but we will see, guys. About a year from now, Mike.
Yeah.
Let's get into this for a second.
Yeah.
The draft is Thursday.
Yes.
A little bit of a home connection with one of these players. Not going to be anybody that the Steelers takes, but it's going to be an interesting pickup in the league. Mark Bruner's son.
Yes.
Remember tight end, number 87? He was a rookie back in '95 out of Washington. His son, Carson Bruner, he's a linebacker coming out of Washington. He had 104 tackles last year, 3 interceptions, 5 broke up passes, and also forced a fumble. So that's just an interesting, I mean, a son of a Steeler. I mean, you're obviously going to see a lot of these guys coming out of Notre Dame over the next couple of years.
Yeah.
All these sons of these Steelers. But a lot of people might have forgotten about Mark Bruner. Mark Bruner's boy will be in the draft, Mike. So, it sounds like he had some pretty good numbers out of Washington. So keep an eye on him. Inside linebacker. Carson Bruner.
Yeah, Carson Bruner. Bruner. I don't know. I said Bruner.
Also, Mike, the talk about the GP moving on trade day or on draft day in a trade is becoming more and more likely.
Yeah, that's what I've been reading.
And the more I'm thinking about it, you know what? It might not be the worst idea ever.
I agree.
Because if you could get some, some major leverage and value in the draft by moving him, we're gonna have to figure something out with him in a few games anyway. So let's just say they go get a young receiver, maybe somebody from Texas or Tennessee, one of these young kids, and work him in and have DK as your number one. Have the same crew you ran with last year with DK. I don't know. I don't like it. I'd like to see George Pickens and DK playing the same offense. But Mike, I got to be honest with you. I mean, if it happens, I think that it's actually going to put us in a decent position to make some moves. Again, I mean, we could use it for some leverage in a draft. We could use it. We could move back. We could move up. We could do some things. And then again, at the end of this season, we won't have to try to figure out what we're going to do. We're not going to pay him. We're not going to pay him. I don't care what it's.
Yeah.
So do you trade him now and get the value on some young players, or keep them around, see what the 2 receivers can do, knowing that you're not going to pay 2 receivers top dollar, and cut ways with them at the end of the season. I mean, both ways have their benefits, Mike. And again, the talk about George Pickens being moved on draft day, it's increasing.
Yeah, it is, and I'm starting to see mocks now too. Anticipating a trade for him, like because of his contract and some of his antics. You're not going to get a first for him. You might be able to get 8 late second, but it's probably going to be a 3rd round pick that you'd get for George Pickens. Which probably, if he leaves in free agency and signs elsewhere, that's the compensation you're going to get for him anyway. So if you go in that framework, you can get a 3rd round pick, trade back in the 1st round, get an additional 2nd and a later round pick. You can do that and add more pieces to the puzzle. You think George would be a great piece to the puzzle, but like you said, will they spend the money to keep him and DK Metcalf? He's not exactly, consistent like T. Higgins is, or Jamar Chase. Do we want to spend the money that way, or are we going to spend it out throughout the cap on more free agents and other guys that are coming up on contracts anyway? So, and there's a handful of receivers you can get, but are they going to replace the impact that George Pickens can have? That's the only thing. He's close to 1,000 yards every year. He's going to get you about 5 touchdowns a year. Big game player. Do you want to give that away, or do you want to try and keep him out for this year? Franchise tag him next year, bring him back. If he plays on the franchise tag, then move on from him. So there's a couple options we can do, but if you do trade him, I would suggest go wide receiver in round 1 and see if you can move back up into the 2nd, get a 3rd for him this year, and flush out that offensive skill positions. Good running back, wide receiver rounds 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think they should trade him.
Well, I don't want to scare anybody, but it was actually it was a report by Adam Schefter.
Yeah.
Saying that GP draft day trade is looking like a real possibility. So, what that means, it means that somebody that isn't nobody wasn't the person, was this came from. I mean, the rumors, of course, we've been following rumors for a couple months now. So again, this was an Adam Schefter post. So just something to think about, guys. And if that happens, what do we think about the Steelers? What do we think about, that these are the moves that they're making? Are people going to be, okay, well, these guys know what they're talking about, or are people really going to be downright pissed off that we let George Pickens go down the road? But again, who knows? It might play great on draft day, and we might, be able to get something great, or at least something really good from that trade if that does in fact happen. But let's get on to some of these messages. I think Derpy, you had something to say real quick, all right?
I have something to say to Mark. First off, I don't like the comment of saying he said, "Hell no, play him this year and get the third round compliment." The thing with GP, I'm kind of tired. I'm tired of him. I'm tired of his attitude. He needs to grow up, and he needs to be a Pittsburgh Steeler that we want him to be.
All
And
right.
I'm really tired of it. And secondly, you can't go into the you, as much as I love Mason Rudolph as a quarterback for him saving Christmas the one year. You can't go into the this year as a quarterback with when you have Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow in your division. It's just not gonna work. What happened to Ryan?
I don't know, but Derpy, you were fired up on that
I'm
one.
just I am fired up. I am fired up. I'm just like I'm 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 pissed at the organization that we're wasting years of TJ Watt and most of our defenses, and it's just getting annoying to this point.
Well, we're going to go down the same rabbit hole that we always do. Like, the players got to take personal responsibility as well for their own play there too. But you know, getting rid of George Pickens, you have to do what's best for the team, and if getting assets
Trade
and
value,
replacing
man.
them is good, you do it, or you just run it out and see what happens with them. You know,
I just don't trust George Pickens anymore. He's just another AB to me.
yeah, like he's hit or miss in what he can do, but when he's right, you can see he's a great receiver in the league. He's
He
a
is.
top 10 receiver. But now you get quarterback that can consistently get him the football. He's not going to be double teamed. You know, a and Mason can throw a great deep ball. He throws a catchable deep ball. He throws the ball on time. Where it needs to be. Let them cook. Let's see what can happen. Worst case scenario, we're picking in the top end of the draft where everyone wants us to pick, and we can get our guy. So why not go ahead and run out
Most
Mason
likely
Rudolph, run
get
out
your
George
Drew
Pickens?
Aller.
Yeah, I don't want Drew Aller. I'm not a big fan of him.
Well, Arch Manning doesn't come out until 2 years, so.
Lenore Sellers. He's looking like if he was in this class, he might have been the first overall pick this year. So there's quarterbacks next year. You can get Will Howard in the fourth. I think would be a good move. Worst case on him, you get your backup with the future.
I'm going to be honest with you. Whatever happens, I like the fire and Derpy, man.
I like it.
I'm just pissed. I'm just pissed. Every year we get, not even meant to Tomlin, but like it's just the fact that we waited. We're always supposed to be in competition to win. We're the Pittsburgh Steelers, and
You're
we
right.
have to, and we're just every year I have to hear from this stupid, Ravens fans and the Bengals fans that they're better than the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's bullshit. I'm like I'm tired of it.
I like the
I'm
fight.
really tired of it.
I like the fire in Derpy's eye. I got to be honest with you guys. Let's see. Let's find where we're at here. It's like I got to find out what the hell what Derpy's yelling about. Okay, we're gonna start right here. Everybody's going to Aaron's old house in Green Bay. It's Tortilla, one of O'Donnell's favorite targets. Let's see, Yinzer Joe. Is this now the deal with players that are retiring? Is it it's in a contract like you have to have a kid now that we can draft soon or we could get our money back?
It should be.
Mark Malone says, hell no, play him this year and get the third round call pick when he leaves. I think this might have been with Derp.
That's what triggered Derp.
All right.
It did trigger me.
Mark Malone says,
And
tossing
the
the
other
rock to
comment
G,
triggered me, too.
tossing the rock to GP should catch 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns easy. Yinzer Joe says, make Pickens play then franchise tag him. If he wants traded, at least you'll get something for him. Tortilla says, trade Pickens for the Paul Skeens rookie card. That might
that might be it.
That might be the best value. Let's see. Caleb says, sorry, my Jim Palmer poster ripped this morning.
Oh
Bong and I
no.
got a secondhand high. You're talking about General George Pickett in the Mexican-American War of the 1800s.
Yes, we are. We will be discussing later on a separate channel the battle plans.
Mark
depth.
says, yes, he's a dill hole derpy, but GP and DK on the outside will be a force to be
He's a
reckoned
waste
with.
of time.
Richard says, I trust Omar, so far at least. I do too. Mark Malone said Mason will be knocking defenses' dicks in the
But
dirt.
you can't go into the. You can't. You have top quarterbacks, and like top 5 quarterbacks, 2 of them in our division at least.
Yeah, Derpy. There's only like 5 elite quarterbacks. You know, it's hard for us to. We had one for 18 years, Derpy. You know,
I know.
Ryan and I survived the 80s, Derpy. This team is much more further ahead than they were then. It could be a whole hell of a lot worse. Trust us.
Tortilla says, I definitely want to see GP and DK in this offense. I don't care if we pay them. But in my opinion, I want to see this team be the bad guys of the NFL again. He says, as much as Watt is making the he should have developed a crazy spiral by now.
Yeah, you should have.
Mark Malone got to draft Howard or Show to compete with Mason. Joe said, what's not going to work is having one less wide receiver again. And Mason Rudolph has only one wide receiver to throw to. No, we don't need to be in that boat again. With 2 out there, the defense is guessing. And also, guys, we got to remember that Roman Wilson is still in the mix. Maybe, just maybe this cat will come out and be productive. Preach on, Derpy. Preach on. That's what Richard's saying. The Steelers should always be an elite team. And then Mark Malone, oh, you can, Derpy. Whatever we do, guys, we got to get younger. Every team in Pittsburgh has a 38-year plus captain. That's rare. That's weird. We got guys we got Andrew McCutcheon we won't let go. We got all these guys in the Penguins we won't let go. We have all these guys on our defense we won't let go.
Mike said it best for the Penguins, and that's pretty much every Pittsburgh sports at this point. They just want to sell tickets.
And maybe we need this draft. Maybe this draft's coming at the right time. We have to get youthful in some ways.
They don't want to compete.
And here's the thing, guys. It seems a lot of things we talk about is negative, but when you don't win any playoff games with none of your teams in almost a decade, it tends to wear a little bit. So I mean, I do apologize, but geez, let's get some winning going on in Pittsburgh. People say we're spoiled, Derpy. We haven't won a playoff game in 8. We haven't won a playoff game in 8 years. How spoiled can we be?
All right.
And no teams. It's not just one team.
Let alone a Super Bowl appearance. And how
whose fault? You know whose fault this is, Mike?
Aaron Rodgers.
No, Marc-Andre Fleury. This is Marc-Andre Fleury. It's the Penguins' fault for getting rid of Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yep.
Because ever since he left, after this Penguins' second cup in a row, he left. The Penguins they haven't won a playoff round since then. The last 3 years they haven't made the playoffs. The Pirates have been doing their same old thing, but you know what? 13, 14, and 15 they were in the playoffs. So after he left in 17, the Pirates haven't won a playoff game. And the Steelers haven't won a playoff game in 7-8 years. So I'm blaming all this on the whole floor. This is the curse of the flower. Because look what's going on.
The flower.
He went on to be successful and great and still continues in the playoffs this year and became the best goalie in so many different categories. This all comes back to the Fleury move. Mike, I don't like it.
Everything tracks. It is the curse of Marc-Andre Fleury. You called it. And
it's the curse of the expansion teams.
No, it's the curse of Marc-Andre Fleury, Derpy. The curse of Marc-Andre Fleury.
We gave away an all-time great, guys. At the time, whether it sounded great or whether it didn't, that's what happened. We gave away our Marty Brodeur. Tortilla says, I blame Blake Bortles for our failure to make the Super Bowl this decade. No team is always elite. New England hasn't made a wild card game since 21. Oh God, that sounds so. That's a lot closer than us. Yeah. I guess after you win 30 Super Bowls, you got to be down a couple of years, right? Here's another interesting thing. With the Pope dying last night, There's been more popes in my life than there's been Steeler head coaches. Isn't that crazy?
Preach, Ryan, preach.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, they had a run there for a while. Then the Pope before this one, you know, he was in there just for a little,
Benedict.
for like a handful. Yeah, he's only there for a couple days.
Yeah. Mark Malone says, yeah, and who was that bastard running back that kept
Oh my God,
reaming us that game?
Oh, their offensive line totally dominated Hargraves to it and Cam Hayward to that game.
What's his name?
Against who?
Oh, against
Jaguars?
yeah.
Who? He's
Leonard
both talked
Fournette?
at. He's both talked at the same time. Who?
Is it Leonard Fournette?
Oh, for Jacksonville. Okay.
Yeah, it was Fournette. Yep.
And
that
then
the
he
game that-
completely disappeared after that.
Didn't Paul Puzzle have a good game against us?
Tortilla.
Probably.
Tortilla says Mike Tomlin for Pope. Hey, you know what? You never know.
You
Hey,
never know.
The position is open. Caleb said that Mike is the curse of Sid Bream. How dare you? Finch and over on the Two Cranky Jagoffs, they were talking about that the other night. They said that we had to get on our merchandise page. Sid Bream was out shirt.
Ooh,
I like that.
we should do that.
And then also Mark says, yes, yeah, that's him. Let's get a little bit more into some Steeler draft, some Steeler talk, some draft talk. Let me ask you this. Realistically, Mike, is there a chance, and I might have even asked this week, but I'm reading more and more that Shedeur Sanders is continuing to fall in the draft. And, you know, I mean, this isn't a strong quarterback draft to begin with.
Yeah.
You know, the Browns need a guy, you know, the Giants need a guy, you know, the Jets need a guy, you know, the Saints need a guy. I'm like, let's just say
I'm willing to take a chance on it.
you are?
Yeah, because we got 2 quarterbacks on our roster right now.
He has a 12-11 record, and I'm not even going to start. But listen,
Talent-wise, I'm willing to take it.
All right, but listen to this. So, is it, Mike? I mean, is it actually a possibility that Shedeur Sanders could be available at 21? And if he is, Derpy, I mean, you already answered the question. Board, you know, if he's that player, if he's that guy, if he's that. And, you know, some people might even say the Caleb Williams from last year. Is it a good idea to snatch him up at 21? I know a lot of people right now are saying that it's a very good idea. Jerry Dulac, certainly for the Post-Gazette, said that the defensive line is going in the first round. That seems very likely, the defensive line player. But let's just say Shedeur Sanders is sitting there at 21. Do you snatch this dude up?
I don't.
He's
He's a very accurate quarterback. I like that about him. He's willing to sit there and take the hit in the pocket. But his upside, I don't see another great leap. Maybe he can be like another like Kirk Cousins type quarterback. That guy that's, you know, very accurate, going to have really good numbers, but not be the guy that takes you over the top. I mean, I think he can have a steady, long career for how accurate it is and how.
Mike, is anybody coming out of the draft this year that you could compare to the guy that's playing under center in Washington?
To have that immediate impact, no.
Nobody, none of these guys. No Cam Ward,
maybe,
no Shedeur Sanders, no
Cam Ward if he goes to the right team, but going to that Tennessee team that's a hot dumpster fire now.
And I heard that a lot of people, I mean, not a lot, but there are some teams calling with interest about Will Levis. I can't believe it. Mike, there was just from draft day when his old lady, when his girlfriend, that hot chick, was treating him like shit because he wasn't getting drafted. I knew at that point his career was going to be a disaster. Dude, I knew it.
You put mayo in your coffee. That's not a guy I want leading my team.
No.
I don't judge. I hold a lot of stuff against people, but mayo in your coffee is one thing I will hold against you.
I do want to say this, though. While we are talking about Shedeur Sanders over this past weekend, we do know that they retired Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter's number this past Saturday in Colorado on their spring game day. Chad Brown, a former guest right here on our show, former Steeler linebacker and Colorado Buffalo. He was on the championship team in the early 90s. Chad Brown is totally against Deion Sanders' son's jersey and Travis Hunter's numbers being retired. So, I mean, just a good friend of the show, Mike. I did see that he was heavily against it. He's a strong opinion against it, as a matter of fact. But there you go. Deion Sanders' son and Travis Hunter's numbers are the first numbers retired by the Colorado Buffaloes, guys. Mike.
Yeah.
Defensive line, Jerry Dulac reporting that it seems very likely. We also talked about this. I mean, there's not much we haven't talked about in the last 2 months, especially leading up to the draft and the draft talk. Mike, again, are you pissed if we go defensive line? I know that was your pick.
Yeah.
But we do have a lot of holes on the offensive side, Mike. And with this offense not being able to be productive for years, or do you agree, all in all, with going with the defensive lineman with that first pick? And I understand you get a great defensive lineman. We need that as well. Get somebody that's young and productive, which I think we need. But is there any way that we could ignore going top player possible in the first round on an offensive player? Is there any way that we can not do that and be happy? Again, the big defensive lineman, and then we don't pick again until the third round.
Yeah.
So, Mike, for a team that needs offense, not picking an offensive player to at least the third round,
it hurts.
It hurts.
Well, let's see. If they're not going to draft Shedeur Sanders in the first round or Milroe or Dart, I don't think they're going to go quarterback there. Are you going to take another running back in the first round? Tight end? Are you going to take a tight end in the first round? And then wide receiver, you got your two big guys. Calvin Austin settled into a role, and you're hoping Roman Wilson will settle into a role. Or are they going to take another guy there as an heir apparent to George Pickens when he moves on? That would, so I see on offense, definitely positions that would take would either be quarterback or wide receiver. Outside of that, I see them waiting until the third round to get a running back. I can see, it depends. Are they going to trade down, trade back up for that second round pick too? But at D line, it all depends on I'm a proponent of taking the best player available. I don't care what position because we need so many holes filled, and if it happens to be D lineman, I'll be happy with it.
It don't feel right to me.
Right.
Just don't feel right to me, knowing that we need so much on offense. And again, these are draftees anyway. Yeah. I mean, you might get one. You might get one that could be in every down starter, especially getting your second guy in the third round. That's tough. I mean, third rounds are Kendrick Greens and guys like this. First round guys are Pat Fryermuth and all the guys that make an impact. So again, you take somebody that's on the defensive line in the first, you don't get a second, and then you get a running back in the third. Again, I just feel that we have to get an offensive player. I don't even know what at this point, because there's so much that we, again, we say this over and over. We still, unless they're going to run their running back situation a little differently than they have been for the past 3 years. They've been doing that sharing time between Najee and Jalen. I mean, they could always go to Jalen being their workhorse, which I think he would be just fine. You have your third down back in Gainwell, and then maybe pick a running back later in the draft, and he could be the guy that kind of splits up time and spells Jalen. But again, we're going to be lacking a wide receiver at the end of this year, this time next season. Also, Mike, the quarterbacks we don't know about. So again, it just doesn't feel right to me. It doesn't feel right to me with so much missing on this offense. We're still paying out this defense, and we're still paying on it. I mean, it's like a mortgage we got on these guys. I mean, there's not much we could do with Cam, with Minka, with TJ at this time. Of course, we know we have the TJ contract situation coming up. Blah, 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 blah. But right now, I mean, that is what it is. There's nothing going on offense. The offense is the lowest paid offense in the NFL, opposed to our highest paid defense, in the NFL. That makes me think, you know what, maybe, just maybe, you got to try to get the best possible offensive player in the first round that you need. But again, Mike, it sure seems, according to the Gazette and some other sources, that the defensive line is looking like the chances of that on day one is looking better and better. Derpy, what do you think about the defensive lineman on day one?
Grant is the only one that stands out to me.
You know what? Grant's gonna be gone. He's not gonna be there at 21, is he, Mike?
No, he's going to be. He could potentially be in that range, like in that 15 to 20 range. But most of the mocks have him going off a little bit earlier. But still, like a lot of mocks I've been running and seeing on different sites, like Walter Nolan keeps sliding down draft boards, and he's
Yeah.
a lot of scouting services have him rated as a top 10 player. Uh, that's someone if he would fall to 21, if you're rated inside the top 10, I'm running to the podium to grab you. I don't care what position you're playing, unless there's some weird medical or some weird off the field issue that no one knows about. You get someone who's rated as a top 10, I don't care what position, falling into the 20s, you snag them, get that best player available. But if you have him and let's say I think Luther Burden might be there, or the receiver from Ohio State, Ibaka. A toss-up between those three. Do you go for the better D lineman or the safer of the two wide receivers, or take the wide receiver who has the highest upside? Yeah, I would love to have the receiver, but I'd also have to love the D lineman too. But I think you can find a better D lineman in the third. Not a better D lineman, but get a receiver in the first round, D lineman in the third round, and have better value and get better production overall out of them. But it all depends on who's sitting there at 21 when the Steelers are there. If there's no receivers there, I go D line. If there's a receiver there, think long and hard about that receiver.
Let me jump back on the message board, Mike. Mark Malone says the Pope would need to intervene from heaven. For Mike Tomlin, I'm guessing.
For Shador.
Oh, for Shador. Because somebody said Mike Tomlin could be the Pope. I think Mike Tomlin would be a bad idea because he would never leave. I mean, that's generally good for.
Well, that's what they want for the Pope.
That's generally what you want for the Pope. But Mike Tomlin would never leave, even if things started going bad. Tortilla Jackson said, in my opinion, if we draft Shador, we'll stay right around 10-7. But I would also take a chance on him. All right. Pieces. I mean, Rudolph is so awesome. You've already fired him once. Great point. Tortilla says, I think Shador gives us the best chance other than Rodgers at the moment. I would like a Rodgers-Rudolph show QB room. Yindra Joe says, I don't think there's a QB worth a higher first-round pick overall over a DT. I'm sorry, for defensive tackle other than Ward, but we'll never see him. Richard says, go with the best player available in the first round. Drafting for need hasn't worked for the Steelers. We have a lot of needs. We sure do. As long I think you got to go with the best player amongst our needs. If you're going to go that route, if you're going to take the best player available, I would love a All-American linebacker, but we just don't need a linebacker. You know what I mean? Mark Malone says there's not a lot of players I'd want to take at 21 other than one of those defensive linemen, because they think one is they say he's a beast. Trading back would be ideal. Tortilla said as long as we don't draft a safety or edge rusher, and we take a position of need, I'm okay. DB, running back, quarterback, and nose tackle.
I mean, TJ is getting up there, everyone. Just saying.
No, he's in the plus. Yeah, I mean, come on. Pittsburgh, we turned into the geriatric sports city. It's insane.
It's been 8 years now.
Come on. We were winning Super Bowls and Stanley Cups, and even the Pirates were in the playoffs. Now everybody's old, and we're not winning. Yinzer Joe says, Sanders' hype is BS. Cordell Stewart was better, and where's his retire? I agree. Cordell Stewart was a lot better in college. He took his team. I mean, come on. Tortilla, I don't think the Steelers have shown any interest in Grant either. Has been my go-to pick if it's there. Mark Malone, nobody has ever fired Rudolph.
We just didn't retain his services.
You just didn't need him for our reindeer games.
Yeah.
So there you go, guys. Mike, I mean, there's a lot of good points on the board. A lot of these guys are making great points, and it's going to be very interesting. Just 4 days. 4 days from right now, we're going to be watching the draft. We're ready. See who the next generational talent possibly for the Pittsburgh Steelers, the new superstar, if you will. Maybe just a guy that fills a hole that we need right now. We don't know, but we will find out here in about 4 days. You can always catch us that night, Mike, on top of the day show
Yes.
that we do, the morning show. Mike will also be running a live stream with Derpy and Finch during the show. It's going to be a lot of fun, so keep that in mind, guys. Mike,
Scary.
what's that, man?
This is like the first year. I don't know what the Pittsburgh Steelers are gonna do.
It's weird, isn't it? I always
Yeah.
generally have a pretty good idea what we're going to do first. This year,
Right.
I don't know. I know what we need.
Right.
We just don't get enough first round draft picks to address it.
All right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we kind of addressed the wide receiver need with that pick or
Right.
with the trade.
Second round.
So yeah, you figure okay, there's your second round pick. But I would like to see them trade back. Yeah, I think the best moves, like take a look at like Buffalo, KC, Philly, because you're gonna pick
Right.
later in the first round and later in the second, but you can get a first and second and still get good players at that spot and still have time to, and you can still move up into the second round too by using a pick from next year because you're getting comp picks.
Mark Malone says Tomlin learned his lesson with Rudolph. Maybe the only thing he's ever learned in the Berg. Mike.
Yeah.
I got something. I got a plan here. I think they're going to go after a quarterback. That's just my opinion. And listen, I could be way off. They could get a defensive tackle in the second in the first round. They could get a. I just think we are in such a need again, as somebody stated, that we just don't have any quarterbacks. We have Skylar Thompson. Let's just say, all right, we have Mason Rudolph, who somebody's already said on the board that he's been let go and brought back. So I mean, we're definitely not jumping up and down.
Yeah.
About Mason Rudolph being back on the team. I mean, I think a lot of people were saying he could manage if we would decide to run with that and see what the season plays out like, and hopefully it could affect us positively in next year's draft in Pittsburgh. But Mike, here's what I'm going to do. I have something special today. I am so sure, in my opinion, that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to take a quarterback. I just don't know who it is. Is it going to be Dart, who I like? Is it going to be Sanders, who keeps getting all this attention as of late? So, Mike, I decided to, because of this, I'm going to look into the crystal ball. Okay. And I'm going to look into the crystal ball, and I'm going to tell you exactly what the Steelers are going to do in the very first round.
Oh, God.
Their first pick.
We need Paul Skeen's mustache back.
You're talking over the demons, Derpy. And I'm looking into my crystal ball. And this ball is going to tell me what the Steelers are going to do in the first round. Mike, I think it's going to be a quarterback, and this ball is going to tell me which quarterback it's going to be. I'm looking deep into the crystal ball, deeply into this crystal ball, and I see a quarterback, and I can't tell if he's black or white. I'm looking deeper. What?
I was like, Michael Jackson?
Hold on,
why not? He played receiver for the Browns.
I'm gaining. Yeah, he did play receiver for the Browns. But I'm listen. I'm gaining the.
Okay.
Listen, you got to focus. This is spiritual.
Okay.
Pope, with the Pope and Easter and all this stuff. You got to let me. You know what? Is it just okay? There we go. All right, here we go. Spiritual. Is it going to be in the first round? Is it going to be Shador Sanders or is it going to be Jackson Dart? I'm asking the crystal ball. The demons are talking to me, Mike.
Oh, yeah, they definitely are.
I see a quarterback. Oh, yeah. There's a quarterback. I see the number 2. Wait a minute. Aren't they both number 2?
Yes.
I see a number 2. This is really happening, Mike. The demons are talking.
Yeah, yes, they are, my friend.
I see a quarterback. I see number 2. I just can't tell. Wait a minute. Mike, I'm calling it right now. The crystal ball was telling me. The Steelers are going to take Jackson Dart at 21 with their first round pick in the NFL draft starting this Thursday night. Mike, crystal ball told me, the demons told me, there's no disputing it. Jackson Dart will be the Steelers quarterback at the end of this week. Thank you, crystal ball.
Thank you, crystal
Thank
ball.
you, crystal ball.
So there you go.
Dart.
You could listen what the experts say, what the analysts say, what everybody says, Mike. But when it comes down to it, you can only trust the demons, right?
You can only trust the demons inside you.
Baby. Mike, Dart or Sanders, which one do you want if you had to pick one?
Oh,
Right, Mike. Right.
it's a tough one.
Who is the
Ooh.
Steelers quarterback of the future if Jackson Dart and Shedeur Sanders are both sitting there at 21? I already told you who the demons said, Mike, but I want to know who
Yeah.
you would. I want to know what you're a demon. I want to know what you have to say.
Damn. Like Shador would be like the safe bet, just because, like I said, just because how accurate it is, and he plays with the really good anticipation. I think Dart has a little bit higher of an upside. Not much, but a little bit higher.
So
Just a
if
little bit
you're
higher.
Omar Khan with your bald head and you're sitting there at the draft table, and those two
Grabbing
names
it.
come across, and you all decide in the draft room that you got it, we're taking a quarterback with this pick.
Yeah.
Who's coming to Pittsburgh?
Shador.
Derpy, I'm going to come to you. Same question. You're sitting there in the draft in the war room. Those two guys are coming up at 21. They're both still there. The team decides they're taking a quarterback. Which one do you choose? Who is wearing a Steeler uniform next season?
I think Jackson Dart will be gone before then. So give me Sanders.
No, you're missing the question. You're misinterpreting the question.
Fine.
Let's say that you're sitting there at 21 and both of these guys are available and you decide you want a quarterback. Which one do you take?
Oh my God.
This is tough.
It is tough. That's why, yeah, absolutely. And everybody on the board as well, guys. Don't hesitate to answer.
Because
If you're GM and
I
these
like
two
both
gentlemen
of
are
the
still
quarterbacks.
sitting there at 21 and your team decided they're going quarterback, who do you take? You take Sanders or you take Jackson Dart? I'm sorry, Derby. Go ahead.
I feel like Dart has more upside, but I feel like um no, not Dart. Dart has like the ed factor, but I feel like Sanders has more upside.
I think the hit factor is important though. But yeah, okay, all right. No, I mean it's both. I asked the exterior demons. They said Jackson Dart. I asked the interior demons here on the panel. They all said Shedeur Sanders. Well, we'll see which demons are
Fine,
correct on Thursday
Dart.
night.
Give me Dart.
You're picking Dart now.
Yeah,
What changed your mind in that 30 seconds, Derpy?
because I have him in one of my mock drafts.
There you go. So again, everybody, if you have an opinion as well, go ahead and put it on the board. I'm going to jump on a couple of these messages. Mike Tortilla Jackson says we're going to draft Brady Cook in the 7th round and have the most competitive quarterback room in football with Mason Rudolph, Skylar Thompson, and Brady Cook. Notes the sarcasm. He then goes on to say, as I was reading the demons in the crystal ball, he put 2 + 2, who was the number I seen, 2 = 4. Jalen Milroe, Mike. Jalen Milroe, another name that certainly has been coming up. That's came up ample times.
God.
How I feel about Milroe.
Like Milroe has the potential to be either like a Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen type, or at worst a Jalen Hurts, but like the floor could be bust.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like if you can get him and develop him for 2 years, like the way teams have did with Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, look out. Athletic freak, but can just get the nuances of the quarterback down, like the footwork and stuff. Be more consistent with it.
I don't think Milroe has the it factor.
Caleb says Jackson wet fart.
Agreed, Caleb.
Bart Below says I wouldn't like the pick, but I can't be mad at him for swinging the bat. And Tortilla says Steelers batting average at quarterback is about as good as the Pirates batting average. Ay. That gave me heartburn. So there you have it, guys. Thursday night starts just 3 days away. 8 o'clock. First
Oh, I
round.
can't wait.
Friday ends up being what, the second and third round, Mike? Is that how that plays out?
Yeah. Yep.
And then all the picks
And then 4
after
through
the
7.
third round, 4 through
Yep.
7 will be on Saturday. And at that point, you're just basically watching names bolt across the bottom of the
Yeah,
screen.
you're
It's hard
like,
to keep up.
yeah, like, this guy I remember watching college. Where's he going?
Yeah.
You're trying to find players that you know.
Tortilla says Milrose the best definition of a boom or bust, and he is one of those rare players that if it doesn't work out, he could change positions. But I don't want to lose with him to figure out.
Yep.
Lose him to figure out he sucks. Yeah, I mean, you're seeing a lot of these guys come up now that are like that, Mike. You know, who's the guy that was up in New England that we talked about getting kind of a similar name
Milton.
to Milton.
No,
You know, you're just it's going to get to the point where the league gets so saturated with these guys that, you know, a lot of them are going to be forced to turn to other positions, and you know what, they're going to be able to pull it off because they're talented and great athletes. So you know that I expect to see that in the league over the next 5 years for sure. I think that type of quarterback is going to saturate the league, and it's going to it's going to shape the way that the future of the league goes.
Yeah, and you're looking at like a lot of quarterbacks too. It doesn't even matter like the style of play. A lot of them in college, you're seeing it now too because they have to win now too.
Yeah,
you're not getting a lot of development from a
no,
lot of quarterbacks. It's like go out there and then you get to the pros, then you got to become more refined as you go, and you know that's just the nature of the beast anymore. So you have to just start looking for traits of guys. Yeah. And look at their film. Are they getting better year over year? Do they show signs that they are willing to develop and grow? And then if they can, the traits that you're seeing and the athleticism you're seeing, if you can pull it all together at the pro level, look out. But it's gonna. I think we're gonna go back to an era where first round quarterbacks are gonna sit for a year or two.
It's certainly yeah. I mean,
it's just the way the game's going,
right? And as you said, like the way college football is changing, it's not good for, you know, it's good for some people, but there's a lot of people that it's not good for. Just as far as developing, and you know, you see 3 or 4, you know, 2, 3, 4 different organizations as a quarterback. I mean that kind of, you know, you would think would thwart your growth. The same way that our quarterbacks struggle here in Pittsburgh with the change of things and, you know, coordinators, and it just, you know, so it'll be interesting to see. That's a feel. That's the way that feels. It feels like that's what's coming with quarterbacks in this league, Mike.
Yeah, that's going to be the case too. And it wouldn't surprise me if it starts trickling off into other positions as well. You start seeing guys bounce around a whole lot in college. You're not going to be getting that a consistent coaching at the position, right. And you might laying on like a good coach, but think you're not getting paid enough or getting enough playing time. You transfer elsewhere, you get more playing time, but the coaching might not be as good. You know, so you're playing more, but you might be developing bad habits instead of sitting and developing good habits. It's a double-edged sword for the league and for the players. You know, you have to do what's best for you, but at the same time, you got to do what's best for your future as well.
Yeah, it's the game is changing.
Yeah, it's interesting though. It's fun to watch, but my God, I'd like to see some of these quarterbacks come in a little bit more refined.
Oh, absolutely.
Because just as a fan, I don't want to sit there and wait if my guy is going to pan out. You know, I want to know right away. We were spoiled with Ben.
Oh, no two ways.
Not just in his play, but in how quick he was able to hop right in and play.
You figure, I mean, Ben's 18 with 18, 19, 20 years. Terry, what was he here? From 70 to early 80s?
Something like that, yeah.
So, I mean,
1980, I think was his
last
last
30 years of the 60 Super Bowl years that we've had an elite quarterback. So,
yeah,
you know, we've been in pretty good graces as an organization, as a franchise. No two ways about that. Hopefully, we can get the guy to continue that and move on, and finally just get a lot of this BS behind us, get out of the quicksand, and be able to move forward as a football team, where it just seems like we're running in place. Let's just say we fix a thing here, something else f's up. It just we fell into this pattern, and it's hell. It's hell to get out of. Again, I don't expect much different than a 8-9, 9-8 season like we did talk about last week. That's kind of where I'm at going into next year. I hope I'm wrong. Believe me. I hope I'm wrong. I hope this team's in the playoffs. I hope this team makes a good run. Something's got to give at some point, guys. It all starts Thursday, 8 o'clock with the NFL draft. Oh, man. Mike, I did see that Aliquippa's running back, Tyke Hayes.
Yeah.
I seen the word that the statement that they used for Tyke Hayes in Penn State right now in the spring camp. He's showing no fear. No fear is the term that they're using to describe how things are going for Tyke at Penn State. So who knows, man? You might see Tyke knocking guys around pretty soon. Like he's a big guy.
Hopefully, yeah. But right now he's buried on the depth chart right now.
Nobody expects him to play. I'm just saying he's really kicking ass.
But it doesn't surprise me. Coming from our area, showing no fear.
I tell you what, he'll be playing at Peabody Stadium or whatever the hell they call that stadium up there now. What's the new name for?
I have no idea. I'm still going to call it Happy Valley.
See, that's the thing. You're a Penn State. You don't even know.
I don't even know. To me, it's always going to be Beaver Stadium and Happy Valley.
And now you have Acrisure Stadium to get used to and everything.
I know, right? I'm getting too old. I can handle some changes, but not all of them. I handle at the pro level.
Mark Malone says, the NFL has dumbed things down so much. Most of these guys coming out are just run the same RPO crap they did in college. Caleb says, Jaden Daniels has had 3 different offensive coordinators in 3 consecutive seasons. I don't buy the new system every year. Well, I mean, for this guy, it worked good, Caleb. But I think of all the guys it didn't work for. I mean, is it possible? Yeah. Is it? I don't know. I don't think that's enough for me to rule it in that way. But you may be right. Hey, Jen, what's going on? Nice to see you today. Had a doctor appointment. We'll listen what you missed. Everything's going good. We all are just getting over 420. A little hazy today, if you will.
A little bit.
Talking some Steelers. Also, Caleb says, Jen, have you ever had an iced tea with cigarette ash? Still going on with that.
He's trying to find someone to follow him along in this endeavor.
Nobody wants nobody wants any of that. And then everybody is giving their pleasantries with Jen. Mike, speaking of women, we are going to have a very special guest this week. The Pittsburgh Passion, our women's football team here in the WFA in Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Passion. They kick off their season this Saturday against the Tampa Bay Inferno in Tampa Bay. We're going to have the MVP of the league, last year's quarterback for Pitt. She's also back this year. Makai Chavez will be on tomorrow to talk about the upcoming season starting on Saturday. Again, the gals, the Pittsburgh Passion, getting ready to kick things off. We'll be talking to their star quarterback, Mike. She was the MVP of the league last year.
Hell yeah.
We'll be talking to her tomorrow. She'll be stopping by.
I can't wait.
Be a lot of fun. They're going on about the iced tea. Jen says, nope, just double mint gum with tobacco smashed into it from the bottom of my mom's purse.
Builds character right there.
We've all been there. So you do want to tune in tomorrow. Check out Makai Chavez. It's going to be a lot of fun. Cannot wait to talk to her. Also, Mike, some other football. The UFL over the weekend. Your DC team, Mike, they fall. They lose their first game of the year to the San Antonio Brahmas, who got their first win of the year against DC. Mike, that game was yesterday. San Antonio was a good game. I got to be honest. Don't these UFL games, they seem to go extra long.
They do.
I'm watching it. It's like I come back in 3 hours and it's still the first half. I swear.
I know. It seems like to be more stoppages than in the NFL game, and they don't have half the commercials. It's just weird.
Friday night they started off. Michigan, they win again. They're 3-1 as they beat the Memphis Showboats. They win 27-9. Saturday there were 2 games. Arlington, they beat St. Louis 30-15. That brings Arlington to a 3-1 record and drops St. Louis to 2-2. In the late game on Saturday, Birmingham, they improved their record, to 3-1 with a 23-16 win over Houston, who falls to 1-3. The other football, Mike, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, they were back in action. They lost at home to the Loudoun Knight FC team. They lose 2-1. The Hounds are still in the big tournament. They're taking a little break on that, but they lost their regular season game Saturday. So they're still in contention for the big tournament, and it's still early. So we'll see what the Hounds can do. Taking a loss early. As long as they get better than last year, Mike. I'm not expecting them to get where they were 2 years ago.
No,
But getting to at least where they were last year, and maybe a little bit better than that, should be right around where this team lands.
It'll be nice. Can we have a competitive team in Pittsburgh in any sport, please?
Mark Malone says, Derpy is getting the loo warmed up. Okay.
No, Derpy's not allowed on the show tomorrow.
Derpy's not allowed on the show? Why?
I don't trust him tomorrow.
Why? What's tomorrow?
The interview.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Derpy could be here. Like beeping sounds in the background. Oh man, Caleb, human beings didn't run a sub 4-minute mile for the first 2,000 years of the mile. After Roger Bannister did it, the next guy to do it 46 days after Bannister. The only limit is the mind.
And pharmaceuticals.
And yeah. And the legal weed. Mark says he'll be stroking it off all show.
That's why he's not allowed.
And maybe I got to reconsider.
Yes, I have to look out for our guest.
WNBA news, Mike. Duquesne right downtown Pittsburgh. Megan McConnell, she got an invite from the Phoenix Mercury in the WNBA, Mike, for when training camp comes along. So good luck to McConnell. Maybe she could get into the WNBA. Here's another thing. Caitlin Clark was not included on the Time magazine list of most influential people of the year, which I'm gonna say right off the top is bullshit, because who is more influential than a woman, doing the amazing things that she did in college by scoring more points than anybody in the history of college basketball, going number one into the WNBA, having a successful rookie of the year season.
Yeah.
How is this person, somebody who was all over the television and sports last year, with the exception of Paul Skeens, I'd say she's probably the most, got the most attention amongst young athletes. The way she would be an influence for young women in this country, it would be enough for me to have her on the list at least. I think it's a crime that she is not included on the list of people who are most influential people in the Time magazine.
Stupid list.
What a dumb list.
What a dumb list.
I don't know who's on the list, but I know she's not.
Where did we land?
We're atop the list.
Fuck yeah, baby. What I'm talking about.
Unfortunately, we scored right behind Derpy's smart detector. So.
Oh God.
Not
that good then.
Other things is this. All right, local guy, Pitt, Bub Carrington. I always talk about him, playing for Washington. He joins LeBron as one of two players. Get this, Bub Carrington out of Pitt, playing for the Washington Wizards. He joins LeBron as one of two players in NBA history with 800 plus points and 350 plus assists before turning age 20.
Wow.
So good for Bub. I know the guy's amazing. He really is a great basketball player. I wish him all the best. And if he stays healthy throughout his career, I think he's going to have a great career in the NBA, everybody. That is Bub Carrington. He's out now because Washington didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's where they're at. But great talent, guys. One of the best young talents, certainly out of this rookie class. A lot of fun to watch. Bub Carrington out of Pitt. Also in the NBA news, as I mentioned, the NBA playoffs are underway, and LeBron James is 12-11 after losing game one in the playoffs. 12-11, Mike. So is the Lakers your squad? Is this what you're going to do?
Oh, yeah.
That's my team. With your Lakers?
I've been a Lakers fan ever since I started watching basketball.
And you're pretty set on that. You're going to be your squad. Do you think they got a chance this year?
Probably not. If you're counting on a 40-year-old player to be your best guy, it's like, kind of like the Penguins counting on a 36-year-old, 38-year-old Sidney Crosby to be your best guy. You really don't have, if you don't have a good shot if those are your,
right.
If you're counting on geriatrics to be to be your top point getter. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's just, not going to happen.
If you're picking up your guys from the flock that's feeding ducks down at the pond,
that have to invest millions of dollars into their body every year just to remain active. Yeah, it's not conducive to winning.
And finally, Mike, Livy Dunn wraps it up. She announces she is done with gymnastics. Mike, of course, that is Paul Skeens' girlfriend. Very, very attractive young lady. Very, very successful gymnast out of LSU, where Paul and her both went. She's calling it quits, Mike. But what are you going to do? I mean, when you're a certain age, and and that's why I love the idea of female sports professionally. I wish they do more to market it and grow this, because a lot of these women, I mean, there's not much after their collegiate the ranks, and they get. What do you do? What are you going to do? I mean, you're a great athlete. You should maybe be getting have this as a career. And a lot of women don't get that opportunity. Fortunately, Livy Dunn, she's going to be well off. I think her boyfriend is going to be, as Mike always says, the first billionaire in the majors. I think it's either going to be him or that guy. Who's the Asian guy?
Otani.
It's going to be one of those two. One of those two will be millionaires or billionaires before you know it.
Well, if Otani hits his parlays, he probably will be a billionaire.
Probably. Jen says this weekend we headed over to Appleton, Wisconsin, to a jerky place that close to Green Bay, and they are getting ready for all the fans out for the draft. Man, I can imagine it's going to be a mad. You know what? I'm just going to enjoy the idea of having our draft here next year.
Yeah.
But man, it's going to be a disaster. I mean, downtown's going to be, a Steeler game. It could get pretty packed. A Pirate game and a Steeler game on the same day. A Pirate game and the Penguins on the same day. This could cause some congestion. Absolutely. And coming in off, from the airport, especially people coming up that side, that's going to be a disaster coming through the tunnels. I don't envy anybody, but guys, it's going to be a blast next season. The NFL draft, of course, will be right here in Pittsburgh. Caleb says Otani's contract is worth more than the owner of the Colorado Rockies. Wow. Wow.
Holy sh! I knew it was high. Damn.
Mike, why don't you go and tell everybody about the website?
The2dumyusers.com. Check it out, everyone. Tomorrow we'll have the next to last mock draft up before the big draft day. Merch store over there. The links all at the2dumyusers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. www.the2dumyusers.com. That's www.the2dumyusers.com. Let's get ready to do this question of the day, Mike. This is, of course, a draft question. It's not going to change this week. All draft questions, NFL draft, of course. Mike, put on your thinking cap. Everybody on the board do the same. Derpy, you put on your thinking cap. Everybody at home, here we go. This is the NFL draft question of the day. Here we go. Which college has produced the most NFL picks with 525? This is overall. Which college has produced the most overall draft picks with 525 all time? I'm looking for a college. Think about that, guys. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day right here on YouTube. All right, so the question of the day, of course, an NFL draft question. Which college has produced the most draft picks overall with 525 all time? Tortilla's taking an early stab at it. He says Ohio State. While you're thinking, I'm going to grab Jen's last comment on the board. She says, gotta love Wisconsin. I got jerky, camel, shark, alligator. Wow, jerky in these particular animals: camel, shark, alligator, elk, ostrich, rabbit, beef. Their motto is, if you jerk it, they will come. All right, guys, question of the day. Which college has produced the most draft picks all time with 525 picks into the NFL? Tortilla says Ohio State. Derpy, who do you think?
I think Derpy ran away. Derpy ran away.
Shh.
Derpy.
Derpy.
I
Mike,
I think
who is
Derpy's
the
making some jerky.
who, who, Mike? Which is the college?
Oh man.
What's your
They're
thought process?
Notre Dame, obviously. It should be up there. They were, the powerhouse.
525 picks.
Alabama, Oklahoma, Ohio State, USC, Pitt, Penn State. There's a lot of good ones you can choose from. I'm gonna go with Pitt. I'm gonna go with Pitt. And that might,
525 picks all time.
you know what? Fuck it. We're going with the U, baby. We're going with the U, Miami.
All right, Miami's your final answer.
Yeah. Forgot about the U.
I'm locking you in. Derpy.
What is my
He's
pick?
back. I hear him eating or something over there. Derpy, what's
He
your
has to
pick?
recover.
Which college has produced the most draft picks in the NFL all time with 525? Mike's saying Miami. Tortilla on the board saying Ohio State.
Bama.
That's a lot of picks. You saying Alabama?
Yeah.
And that's your final answer?
Yeah.
All right, I'm locking Derpy in on Alabama. Locked in place, Derpy. Question of the day is this: which college has produced the most draft picks all time in the NFL draft with 525 picks? I'll tell you this: number 2 is USC with 523.
I was gonna pick USC either too.
They're 2 behind this school, who has 525 players picked in the NFL all time. 007, what's up, my brother? He says Ohio State. So we have Ohio State on the board. A couple Ohio States.
Scottsdale Community College.
Caleb says Scottsdale Community College, which is right up
The
there. It's gotta
humans.
be. So we got Derpy says Alabama. Mike says Miami. Some Ohio State's on the board. One more time, guys. Which college has produced the most draft picks in the NFL with 525 all time? Caleb says, let's go Fighting Artichokes. The answer, guys, is 525, which is 2 more than the second, which was 523 by USC. Mike, the number 1 team all time with the draft picks into the NFL is, in fact, the team that you mentioned, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Yeah. Should have went there. Should have went there.
525 players drafted out of Notre Dame. That is,
and still haven't found a way to win a national championship in the modern day.
that's extraordinary. That's an amazing amount of players if you think about it. Wow. Oh man. Notre Dame. Mike, anything before we do start getting ready to wrap up the show for today?
No, I got nothing. I got nothing. Just enjoy the weather. That is getting nice. That's all I got. I got no new news.
I guess so.
No nothing. Yeah, just enjoy the day, everyone. After we wrap up, of course.
Go ahead, Derpy.
Magical, all bold Mike's head.
I know. I should have been reading. I should try to have been reading the future off of Mike's head.
Who
Might have
shall
got-
the Steelers pick?
Go ahead, Derpy.
They shall pick a defensive tackle.
And you got that from reading Mike's head?
Yes.
All right, there you go. There you go.
Just rub it. Make sure you rub it tonight for good luck.
Oh, I'll rub it tonight.
Now that the Penguins are done and the Pirates are on vacation, or they're not on vacation, they're on the road. Well, I
They're
mean,
on
basically, they have a
vacation.
day off and they're on their way out west. So they're not playing today. Not much Pittsburgh sports going on today as we start to get prepared this week to head to the NFL draft on Thursday in Wisconsin. We're not heading there. We're getting there day by day, a little bit closer every day. And again,
Starting to smell like stinky cheese, right?
and you're not going to want to miss. You're not going to want to miss Thursday, the live stream right here with Mike Derpy and possibly Finch. It's going to be a lot of fun on Thursday night, kicking off the draft, the NFL draft. You say you smell like stinky cheese, Derpy?
It's already to smell like stinky cheese. I don't wanna go to Green Bay.
Yeah. Hey, next year we'll be here. You're coming down, right?
I'm gonna try. I'm for sure gonna try.
All right. Derpy, anything before we wrap up, man?
Mike, that's still a voodoo doll.
What the hell is your obsession with my dummy?
It's a voodoo doll. It's not a dummy.
I'd like to try that out one time. Start. What do they use like pins and shit with them voodoo dolls? They poke them.
Can we do make one for Lamar or Joe Burrow or something?
We might have to. Now that we're getting into the dark magic of the crystal ball, we might be pulling out the voodoo dolls next.
We're gonna have to do what we have to do.
Jen says John Cena victorious. Yeah, we got a few extra minutes, guys. Give me some update on WrestleMania last night, Derpy. What happened in WrestleMania? And anything that really stands out?
Well, Jen stole the thunder basically. John Cena did win.
Was he still a heel?
Yeah, he was still a heel. Yeah.
Okay.
Paul Heyman, double crossed Roman Reigns and
Yes.
CM Punk.
Yes, Tortilla
That
Jack.
weasel.
Look at Tortilla. That's the comment of the day.
Tortilla. Steelers trade George Pickens for Angel Reese. Jen says, "Oh, Derpy, come see me. I live an hour away from Green Bay." There you go. You don't have to stay down with the stinky cheese the whole time. Yes, there'll be cookies. What do you think? Jen gives out beer for Halloween. She'll have cookies.
Okay. Beer and cookies, I'm down.
I want to see Derpy get drunk.
Well, maybe you'll get that opportunity, Mike, when he comes.
I told you my story of getting drunk, haven't I?
Well, yeah, you told somebody, and I heard it, and it wasn't quite as impressive as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
No,
I don't want to hang out with you, Derpy, but I want to see you drunk. We'll figure out.
Well, maybe next year, Mike, when he comes in rooms with you when the draft is in town, him and many of the viewers, Mikins, will all be piling into your room right there in your studio, right in there in your studio.
Nope.
Indians could all cuddle and Mark Malone says blow weed smoke at it. I don't know what we're blowing weed smoke at, but I'm okay with that, and I'm all for it.
This guy
and Io Sky, Jen's talking about from WrestleMania.
Yeah, that was a banger of a match.
That was the first match of the.
That finish was fucking electric.
Well, tell me about that. What happened?
It looked like Bianca Belair hit her finisher on Rhea Ripley. Then out of nowhere, Io Sky comes on and does his badass swanton bomb and wins the triple threat. This is the way it was all filmed and cut. It was like it was damn good.
It was probably the best match of the night because the rest were just kind of mid.
Okay. I mean, that's 3 days worth of 2 days worth of WrestleMania. There's a lot that goes on with WrestleMania. Like, I didn't watch it this year, but I'm seeing a little bit more as the days go on here. I gathered that John Cena won. I seen Stone Cold Steve Austin coming down on his
oh god,
he hit somebody.
Did he really?
Yeah, he hit the banner, the railing, and some lady went flying. He missed the ramp on a couple occasions. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was not a good night for Stone Cold.
What about Liv? How did my girl Liv Morgan do this weekend?
Did she even wrestle? I don't even know.
Yeah, she did. But let me see. Hold on.
I am not. You don't have to look it up. Mark Malone says he was doing Jello shots off of midgets.
I can see Derpy doing that.
I don't know, Derpy. I'm losing interest real fast.
Yeah, Derpy.
Liv Morgan lost.
Who'd she lose to?
Lyra Valkyrie and Becky Lynch.
I bet she looked so fine while it was going on. I mean, come on, Liv
Probably.
Morgan. You wouldn't think that she would be a good wrestler, but she's actually a really good wrestler.
She is too. She's a really good wrestler.
It was a tag team title.
Jen said some homemade moonshine. Moonshine.
Ooh. Never had it, but it sounds good.
After your story, Derpy, I think that might kill you.
Bet.
Dominic Mysterio 1-2. Okay, I like
Dirty Dom, baby.
I like Dirty Dom because he likes he's with my girl. Fellas, that's about everything for me. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we do wrap it up for this Monday's installment of the show?
I got nothing, man. Thanks for everyone tuning in, man.
Yes, I do want to say thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. We really, truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you also to everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show. We appreciate you greatly. And everybody at home, whether you're it's at home, whether you're in the car, maybe you're in the gym, it's nice out, maybe you're even taking a walk. We want to thank you as well, everybody who listened and tuned into the show. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all over again and continue the draft coverage and get ready for Thursday. Again, you're not going to want to miss Mike, Derpy, and Finch on Thursday night. They will be running a live stream during the draft. Come hang out with the guys, watch the draft, and exchange commentary, I guess, if you will. It'll be a really good time. Tomorrow, don't forget to tune in. Makai Chavez, the MVP in the Women's Football League, our quarterback right here for the Pittsburgh Passion. She'll be stopping by to talk about the upcoming season starting this Saturday against Tampa Bay on the road, where she was a star for 10 seasons, Mike, before coming to Pittsburgh. So she's really good. She's really good. I got to see her quite a few times last season, and I cannot wait to pick her brain to find out a little bit more about this upcoming season for the Passion. And finally, I do want to say thank you to everybody that did tune in to check out Finch and Tim on Friday night for the Two Cranky Jagoffs. They appreciate that as well, guys. They love whenever they get a nice amount of people in the room and they're talking, and they always have a lot of good comment, or a lot of good comment, but a lot of good topics, Mike. Every time I watch a show, it's always something interesting. I can't think of right off the top of my head what it was this weekend, but there was something they had a top. What was their list?
90s jerseys, I think it was.
Is that what it was?
Or 90s shows. It had something to do with the 90s.
Oh, it was movies.
Yeah, that's what it was.
It was like top 100 movies.
Yeah.
It was really good. I enjoyed it. I went over there and I seen a few of the guys from the board popping up, and gals, of course, popping up. So thank you so much for going to check them out. I know that they do appreciate it as well. Thank you. Let me grab a couple of these messages real quick. Thank you, Tortilla. You too, my friend. Happy 420 to you as well, Caleb. Mark Malone, keep that hard on under control, Derpy. And I don't mean keep a firm grasp on it. You get it? You got it, Derpy? Well, he ran off to the bathroom. He ran off to the bathroom.
He ran off to the bathroom.
He's like a spider monkey. But again, no, thank you everybody so much. Mike, Derpy, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Good show, everyone.
And also maybe tomorrow, Mike, we will get into some of the new music as well, created by our in-house AI Dumb Yinzer band. A lot of stuff coming up the rest of the week. It's going to be really exciting, guys, heading into the draft. Please do join us. We'll be back tomorrow at our regular time. For Derpy, for Mike in the Steeler Central Mobile Studio, myself, the two Dumb Yinzers. Everybody have a great Monday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jagoff at a Pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burb with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.